Here's hoping my internet doesn't act up. Here's hoping that YouTube does not screw my live stream tonight. Oh my goodness. Hey guys, I am opening a drink. Hopefully you guys can hear me. What's up, Mark? Hello. Yeah, the Flash 20,208. All right, let me take this off here. I'm not sponsored by Dr. Pepper, okay? I'm not sponsored. I'm just drinking it because it's what was cold and in the fridge. Speaking of that, my studio is really, really hot. I forgot to turn the AC on before I came in here. If you hear the fan running in the background, I do apologize. Hey, what's up, guys? Dr. Cringe, Ragu. How are you guys doing? King Major, Gaming Beaster. Pagey's not with me tonight. He is out watching Deadpool 2. So he could not be here. I wrote my notes on a little Post-it because I didn't know where my notebook was. What's up, Isa B, J-Rod, Dirty Artist, Superhero 2.0, Brody and Connor Vlogs. What's up with the title? Is there something wrong with the title? I changed it. Oh, you're talking about on Twitter. Yeah, I changed it, but for some reason YouTube, they have a problem with their updating. Like the thumbnail's right, but the title's wrong. It'll correct when it gets done. What's up, everybody? Hey, Dino Dragonoid, how are you doing? I hope everybody's... Hey, Anime Forever, Victor Ortega, thanks, guys. I am really... Before we get started, for the people that are in here, I'm going to address the issue with my channel. Because as you guys know, over the last 2 months, there's been... hello, Dr. Cringe. How are you doing? There has been a lack of content on my channel. And there's a fly in here. I just realized there's a fly in here. Welcome to the summertime. There's been a lack of content on my channel, and so I want to address it here because I talked about it in my Monday video, but I'm not sure that everyone watched to the end. So if you're watching this now on playback or here live, hopefully you guys can see me okay. Yeah, so around the beginning of January, had a family member diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And so I was the #1 caregiver for this person. And I'm not going to get into the reasons why. But needless to say, there's been a big space in my life since this person is gone. And I was having a hard time dealing with it. So I took a little time away from YouTube. I was only doing a few videos. And it just kind of took a toll on me. But this week, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling re-energized. I'm feeling, I'm loving watching the shows. My Supergirl review will go up tomorrow. It got blocked by WBTV, so I had to redo it. But that'll go up tomorrow. And everything should be back to normal. Matter of fact, I think that I'll probably be doing more content because my free time I've got lots of free time now. So anyway, that's that. So I'm doing much better. Thank you guys for asking. Thank you guys for understanding. All the people that, support my Patreon. I really appreciate you guys understanding as well. But I'm going to work through it. And with the help of you guys, matter of fact, I got to change something on my lighting here. Hold on. All right, there we go. I had the wrong light on. Supergirl gets hit all the time. Supergirl is like that series gets hit more than anything else, just like Smallville gets hit. I don't know why or what the reason for that is, but they just do. Hey, CJ Dion, thank you. Hit Wonder, thank you so much. So anyway, I do apologize. My channel growth has been over the last 3 or 4 months, but that's because I really haven't been doing anything, and I had all these big plans. But the good news is, barring something crazy, at this point now, it's just for me to move forward with everything and try my best to get back to some normalcy in my life. Okay. With that being said, I've addressed it. I tried to do that CW The Flash, but I can't find that account in there, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about tonight's episode of The Flash, Think Fast. So I saw some people on Twitter who did not like this episode. There were some people that thought it was, hey, Amethyst, how are you? Some people thought that it wasn't a great episode, and they have some valid complaints about it. I think based on the kind of stuff we've seen this season, I think that this episode was pretty well done, all things considered. Arkham Legend, do I think Godspeed will come to The Flash? Not this season. Maybe next season. Ben, I have ordered them. They have not come yet. Yeah, we're going to talk about Killer Frost here in a second. I have this list of stuff, and it's not the first thing on my list. So I want to knock a few things out first, all right? Let's talk about the Joe and Cecile stuff, because I think that was probably the weakest stuff in this episode, in my opinion. I'm just not a fan. I mean, I'm glad to see Joe in this relationship and stuff, but I think that Cecile comes in, provides information, and then she's gone for like 2 or 3 episodes. And I'm not really sure why they're using her in this way, because with the beginning of the season, I felt like she was going to be a much bigger part of the show, especially since she was going to be with Joe. They were going to be together. The house thing was a big deal. She was pregnant. But literally it's like she just has become another form of, like, she's a cross between like a plot device and comic relief. And that's really what they've done with her. And I said, I believe this was like probably several months ago, probably around Christmas or maybe a little bit before, I said, if they end up using her powers to like save the day for the whole season, I was going to be really disappointed. So I hope that they don't do that. They did confirm that Joe knows that Wally's on the Wave Rider. So that was kind of cool. I was expecting him to show up. When she was sitting on the couch and she was like, dude, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, I'm thinking, okay, is Wally coming? Because at the very beginning of that little segment, it sounded like she was sort of like, I don't know, it felt like Wally to me, like Wally was going to show up at the door, and then he wasn't there. It was like a pizza delivery guy. Was there a time jump you missed? How far along is Cecile? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. She's obviously very close. Just looking at her, you can tell she's literally ready to give birth. I think that was the weakest of the episode, if I had to be completely honest. I think anything involving the two of them this season has been really weak for me. And it's kind of sad because I love Joe. I think Joe's a great character. But I think this whole thing with Cecile is just, it's not doing much for me. Let's put it that way. What did you guys think of the Joe and Cecile stuff? Like, in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about it. I want to know what you guys think. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, while we're waiting for that, we did touch on flash time in this episode. It was a pretty important part of what the plan was to stop DeVoe. I love that they're using it. I think that's great. But I still feel like they're using it incorrectly. Like the way they were setting it up, it was nice to have Cisco and Caitlin, together doing that with Barry, because it was cool to see the three of them working together. And I think actually that was one of my favorite parts of this episode, was seeing the three of them all sort of working together, which is something we haven't really seen a lot of this season. Yes, Keyblade, I'll agree with that. It is funnier than Ralph. I agree with that. Okay, I don't know why that's popping up, but whatever. I still can't figure out how to disable that. So the flash time thing, I feel like there's a lot of times when it could be useful and they don't use it. And then like in tonight's episode, I don't necessarily think it was the only solution, right? I mean, I think there's other ways they could have handled it. It's a plot device this season, but I don't know if it's going to come up again. I don't know if we're going to use it again in the finale. What was the deleted message? What? Why was... Sam, why did you time out Hit Wanda? Sam's not talking either. I'm going to do this for now. I'm going to... I'm not sure what's going on. Whoops. But Sam, if you're here, speak up and let me know what's happening. Well, it says that you timed out Hit Wanda for 300 seconds. And I don't understand why you did that. I'm not saying it was on purpose, but... yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to mod my room tonight because I don't have Pagey, so I'll add mods again later. Anyway, Hit Wonder, if you're still watching this, that was not on purpose. So, and I don't know what happened, but that's why I prefer to mod myself. So, Sam, I don't know. It said you timed him out. It's right here in the chat. Oh, okay. Okay, so, yeah, I know you guys. I'll go through. If we get really busy, I'll start adding moderators. It's just when stuff like that happens, I have to literally stop my chat and look at it and figure out what's going on, and it kind of takes the winds out of the sails. Okay. Anyway, where was I? I don't even remember. Flash time. So I don't know if we're going to see Flash time again before the end of the season. But I really, really hope that it comes back next season and it gets used in a better way. Because I think that other than the episode Enter Flash Time, I really haven't seen them use it in an exciting way for me, and I would love for them to use it more exciting. Like, tonight's episode was interesting, but I feel like it was very predictable. And it was cool to see them as speedsters, but I wish I could have seen more of that. Fearless, I talked about that a minute ago. Warner Brothers blocked the video, so I have to redo it. So yeah. All right, so let's talk about the Barry and Cisco stuff. Because okay, look, we're not going to... Here's the deal. We're not going to talk about trolling people and stuff like that in the chat, because that is exactly... Yeah, I don't think it was Sam. It's not Sam. I mean, he was talking to you, but I don't think he was trolling you. And we're not going to talk about that in the chat because you guys are being really good right now, and I don't want to get into that. We're trying to have a chat here, and if you start to detract the show, I'm going to get really frustrated. Not angry, but I will get frustrated and start timing out people. So, Cisco and Barry stuff was really good. And actually, one of the things I really loved about this episode was the actual interactions between characters. Like the Barry, Cisco stuff, the Harry stuff with the rest of the team. The DeVoe stuff with Barry was really good. I love having Neil Sandilands back. He was sorely missed, and having him come back, I think, definitely helped the show, in my opinion. Hello, Unbreakable. We're going to talk about Killer Frost here in a second. So, if anything, I think regardless of what I thought of the show as a whole in this episode, I really, really, really loved the interactions between characters. Because I actually think that was one of the best parts. And I love good writing, and I think the interpersonal stuff between the characters on screen made sense. They felt like real conversations. So yeah, I loved all of that. Hello, Laura. How are you doing? Do I think they could have done better with Cecile and Joe? Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Dr. Cringe, 100%. I feel like Cecile and Joe are characters that this season have been sidelined. And it's just because they've had so much going on with these new characters that a lot of the older characters aren't getting a lot of screen time. And unfortunately, Cecile and Joe have been definitely affected by that. Just like Caitlyn has been affected by that. Not so much Cisco. I still feel like Cisco's had a lot more screen time. Maybe that's just me, but I just feel like he has. So yeah, the Diggle stuff. I thought Diggle was really good in the episode, but I mean, he was only in it for like what, 3 minutes or less. I just wish I could have seen more of him. I feel like he could have done more, but he didn't. I don't even remember really when Argus was compromised. What did Diggle say he was doing? Guys, refresh my memory on this. When Diggle was taken back to Star City, was he not gonna do anything? I mean, it was an Argus facility. So, I mean, I don't know. I was a little bit confused because it wasn't just the fact that we don't know chronologically where Diggle was in all of this because they're still dealing with the stuff with Richard Dragon. So I don't know. It was kind of weird. Yeah, I know he was working for Argus, but I mean, there's nothing else he could do. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like it was an Argus facility. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just hoping for too much. I thought that was a little strange, like having him come in just to show that Diggle was used as a undercover person to get into the facility. So I thought that was a little weird, but I still really like Diggle. So having him on the show was kind of fun. So that's all the smaller stuff that I want to get into. Let's talk about the big stuff, the stuff that you guys really want to talk about. There's a couple things here that I'm going to talk about. Basically, the stuff that you guys have been bringing up in the chat. All right, so let's talk about that incredible hallway scene with DeVoe. That hallway scene with DeVoe was really good. Really, really good. It, again, just showcased like how powerful DeVoe is. How incredibly powerful DeVoe is. So for me, it was like watching what I've been saying all along in terms of DeVoe being unstoppable. So seeing him go in and just lay waste to the Argus facility was kind of cool. I do have one question though. When he was outside of the building, when DeVoe was outside of the building, why did he have to tell them to turn off the dampeners? Couldn't Kilgore's powers remotely connect to something from outside? Because the dampeners only nullify the powers when the metas are in the vicinity of the dampeners. When he was outside, he was still able to shapeshift, which means he should still be able to use Kilgore's powers. There's an equal sign in my flat. My titles are always screwed up on my live stream, Sam. I'll go in and change it afterwards. I can change it after it's done recording. So I felt like it was a little weird that he had to pretend to be someone else because he could have easily used Kilgore's powers and turned them off from the outside. Secondly, as far as I know, unless Null's powers were changed, she still had to make contact with objects to make them float. But DeVoe was making things float by just pointing at them. Now, this could be explained that DeVoe actually learned how to use her powers in a different way, and we just don't understand that. But you know, I mean, I feel like that's I feel like that was a thing that the writers did where they weren't thinking very much about it. And yeah, as far as Brainstorm's powers, he could literally go into anywhere and do anything he wanted because he can use Brainstorm's powers. So I don't know. But the hallway scene was really cool. I can't complain about it. I was a little bit confused when he was animating the guards that he had killed, but I do believe that he was using Black Bison's powers because she can control effigies, which are human or animal-shaped objects. So I'm assuming that he was able to animate the bodies, even though they're not technically effigies. Yeah, I don't know, but I still like the scene. So, you know, it is what it is. Let me check here into the live stream and see where that the error in the title is. Yes, I see it. Correcting it now. Correcting it now. All changes saved. Okay, we're good to go. So I can stop being a living meme. Okay, so and I love Neil Sandilands as DeVoe. I think that's great. What was the point of Diggle? I don't know. I have no idea. Who is my favorite character? Unbreakable. Do you mean on The Flash or on all of the shows? All of the CW shows. You like the equal sign? Okay. Fla equals Ash. Okay, so let's talk about Caitlin, because I think that was probably the best part of this episode, was the stuff with Killer Frost. And I'm going to give you guys my theories on what I think is going on. I could be totally wrong. I have been before, but that's the fun of talking about theories. So what we found out in this episode is that Killer Frost has always been a part of Caitlin Snow, at least as far back as being like a young child. So we know that Killer Frost has always been inside of Caitlin. And when she said that she was repressing memories, she wasn't actually repressing memories. I believe that was times when she was younger where Killer Frost took over, and so she doesn't remember them. So that's a nice little tie-in. I think that was very smart writing. I'm glad they did that. So in terms of the Killer Frost stuff, we could talk about why I think why Killer Frost exists and why she's different from the other metahumans. So here's my thing. They mentioned her father. I think that might be a key to what's going on with her, and that he was sick. And we know that her mother was also a scientist, and she was dealing with medical things in terms of like experiments and stuff like that. So my theory is that Killer Frost was created by her mother in an attempt to cure her father. She needed to have someone from their family to experiment on to try and correct the sickness that her father had. And ultimately, it caused her to have this split personality, Killer Frost, that has been inside of her all along. Now, that does not explain why it took so long for her powers to become active, or why we didn't even know about it until post-Flashpoint. But I feel like that's a setup for her and her mother to have a story next season, because I definitely think we're not touching on it this season. I think maybe she, because if you think about it, when she came to see her mother was surprised to see her with powers, but she was immediately capable of figuring out what they were. So I think if we wrap all of that up, I think that would be a really cool tie-in. So what's up, Cold Water Yo? Yeah, it is dark, Monique, I know. I just feel like her father, her split personality, and her mother's experiments have something to do with all of this. Now, this would also explain why her actual Frost powers were taken away, but the personality of Killer Frost is still present within her DNA because she's not like the other metas. But this also begs the question, if she's not like a typical meta, how was it that Melting Point was able to take away the powers? Let's see. Mike Horan, thank you for the $5 super chat. You say, I feel like there's a lot of side plots that have to get a payoff on top of the main story for the finale. Think they'll deliver. Didn't last year. So you're thinking of all the Savitar stuff, the Philosopher's Stone stuff, like all of the things that happened at the end of the season last year that just never, ever got answered. And I have to say there is a bit of that in my gut in terms of what we're going to see this season. I do not think we're going to get any payoffs from the Killer Frost stuff this season. She may get her powers back, but I don't think we're going to figure out anything about her this year. I think that's totally a setup for next season. I don't think we're going to find out anything about the Mystery Girl this season, other than maybe some more breadcrumbs, because Candace Patton confirmed on Twitter that the Mystery Girl is going to be explored next season. So that's another thing we're not going to wrap up. As far as like Gypsy and Cisco's relationship and him taking the job on her Earth, I think that's going to not cover the rest of the season. There are a lot of things this season, even more than last season, that need to get wrapped up that I just think will not get wrapped up. There's no way we could wrap all this up in one episode. It's just not possible. Let's see. What do we got going on here? The true timeline is the Flashpoint timeline. Mark, there's been a lot of confusion about the timelines in general. I tried to make a video about it, and I got confused making the video, so I just scrapped it. Amethyst, that's a good point. That could be the case. Absolutely. Yeah, Ben, but yeah, that's and exactly. So I think that there is going to be some experimentation going on, and I would not be surprised. You know, maybe she did not do it to her daughter on purpose. Maybe it's possible that it was an accident that she was given these powers. So, can I explain the Savitar plotline? Is that a legitimate question, or are we just trolling the Savitar story? I can try and explain it. I kind of understand it, but it still isn't the best plot, like storyline ever. And I think the showrunners had trouble explaining it. Oops. Do you want Carlene to get her powers back? Speed Force symbols. That's another one that will never ever get touched on. The original 2020 timeline. The timeline we think in real. See, I'm under the impression that all the timelines exist. We just jump from one to another. Tyler Scully with a $1.99 super chat. Well, no Speed Force symbols wrap up either. Tyler, I would be really surprised if we get that wrapped up, because if it's tied to the Mystery Girl, it'll probably carry over into next season. The newspaper is a false prophet. I agree with that, Mark. Would you like Savitar to be the original Barry Allen before the Reverse Flash ruined the timeline? I would love for something like that, and I actually mentioned that I would love for it to be, like, every single thing that I wanted it to be, I knew probably wouldn't happen. So Giovanni says he's kind of trolling and he wants me to explain the Savitar timeline. So Savitar, based on what happened, should have never existed in the first place, hence we should have never gotten that season because of the own rules of time travel exhibited by the show itself. So it's hard to explain that timeline because technically the Savitar timeline was a timeline that never happened. So how in the world would people like, who was it that mentioned it? There were several people that mentioned Savitar over the, like, people from the future that remembered Savitar in our timeline after Barry defeated Savitar in our timeline. That makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, the Savitar timeline should not exist. We were watching it happen, but technically no one else from the future should have remembered it. So, in the comics, Caitlin wasn't born Killer Frost. She was possessed by something, by Crystal. Yeah, Dr. Cringe, I don't think they're going to use that storyline. I would be cool if they did something like that from the comic books, but I don't think so. Name one major character you think should die in each Arrowverse show. Let's see. We'll start with Supergirl. Wynn or James could go. I don't think either one of them are necessary. Wynn's probably a little more necessary than James, but still, he's very he's like one of those he's not even Cisco. He just comes in randomly and fixes things. He doesn't have much of a developed story, unfortunately, other than the stuff with his father. Let's see. In the Flash, we could get rid of. We got rid of Ralph for the time being. It's tough because everyone on Team Flash at the moment has something they're doing. If I could get rid of characters based on their storyline this season, I think Joe and Cecile are both kind of unnecessary. And that's pretty much it. I think Caitlin, Cisco, Barry, Iris, and Harry all kind of serve a purpose. Did I notice Gideon addressed DeVoe as Mr. DeVoe? Yeah, I did notice that, Thomas. Let's see. On Legends of Tomorrow, Nate and Mick. And I know a lot of people are going to push back on Mick for me, but I feel like Mick this past season was really a doorstop, to be completely honest. Nate and Mick both, in my opinion, could go from Legends of Tomorrow. From Arrow, anyone from New Team Arrow. Curtis, Wild Dog, Dinah, any of those three could go. William, definitely out of here. Do not like William at all. Everyone else I can deal with. And as far as Black Lightning goes, it's too early in a series for me to make that determination. If Flash can go back in time, why wouldn't he go back 5 minutes before DeVoe begins to breach Argus? That's a good point. Matter of fact, Dirk Diggler, which one of my favorite movies of all time, with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I actually have here, where's it at? Where did I put it? Oh, time travel this season is not being used because it could literally fix everything. Everything that has happened could have been fixed by time travel. And Barry is so adamantly against it, even by a minute or 30 seconds. He was willing to let, that reactor go off, or the bomb go off there. And I said that, now my video is probably going to get demonetized. Darn it. Anyway, he was willing to let that go off without time traveling. And even in tonight's episode, he could have time traveled just enough to save people. I mean, there's a lot of times it could be used, and I realize why they're not doing it, simply because it is kind of OP for Barry to be able to do that all the time. But I feel like at certain points, he should at least attempt it, because it's not a lot of time that has gone by. And Legend of Tomorrow does it all the time, because it's part of what the show's premise is. So having one show within the same universe use it all the time and one that says they can't use it, that seems a little silly to me. That's just me personally. Sam with a $25 super chat. Thank you so much, Sam. You said, I watched back now. Reason was because I panicked late to do my job because no notification. I was trying to delete the ... message and thought it was spam, but accidentally pressed timeout. My apologies, Eric and what. You know what, Sam? Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Hit Wanda if you're still watching. It was not done on purpose. I need to go in and remove some of the time. Well, I think that was just a timeout, but remove some of the bands in there, and I could not figure it out before I started my live stream here. But I will definitely look into that. Thank you so much, Sam, for the $25 super chat. You're always so supportive, and I totally get it. It was a mistake. Thank you so much for bringing it up. And hopefully Hit Wanda sees this and is able to come back in and chat with us very soon. Hello, Kevin Fraser. How are you doing? Also, this is the last thing I have on here, and then we're just going to kind of wing it. The Marlies and Iris stuff, I think, is really appropriate. I think out of everything Iris has done this season, her interactions with Marlies have been really good. And tonight's episode was another really good interaction between the two of them. They have so much in common in terms of their stories this season that I like the two of them interacting with each other. I think all the best scenes with Iris outside of some of her moments with Barry, have been with Marlize, in my opinion. So I'm really happy to see where that goes. I think that would be a great way to wrap up the season between the two of them, and a really good way to bring Iris into her own story instead of like just inserting her into everything with Barry. Excuse me. So Static Vortex says, Barry's excuse for not time traveling is the fear of Black Flash time wraiths, mark my word. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. The only thing is, as far as they know, the Black Flash was defeated by Killer Frost at the end of last season. So, I mean, we know that that's not the case, but I don't know if Barry knows that. Giovanni says, Iris says Marlize stabbed her. I call BS. She stabbed. That's true. I didn't even think about that. But that is true. She did say that. So, yeah, that was a writing issue. Continuity error. Yeah, MC Concept, I agree. Can we talk about the lazy writing? Yeah, I agree. That was totally a mistake on the writer's part. I agree with that. Amir with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Amir. You said, could the 2024 article depicting the Flash and Eobard battle be the moment Eobard attempted to go back to kill Nora? Barry follows since his disappearance. So you mean, okay, so let's get this all together here. So you mean back at the beginning of season 1, the Barry that goes back to stop Eobard is the 2024 Barry who's battling with Eobard before the attempt to go back and take out Nora. Is that what you're saying? Because if that's the case, I totally agree with that, and I think that would be a cool way to wrap it up. That would actually be a really cool way to wrap up the series. Like at the very end of the series when they know they're going to wrap it up, the last episode is literally Barry and Eobard going back and him interacting with himself right at the beginning of season 1. I think that would be really cool. Let's see. Yes, Seth, I agree. Thoughts on hippie Cecile this episode? I'm kind of done with Cecile. I think the whole meta mind reading baby thing is just, it's ran its course for me. But I don't know. We can talk Infinity War now. It's been over 2 weeks. So I will change the spoiler thingy up here when I do that. We'll talk about it tonight. I still got time. We've only been live for 37 minutes, and since Paige's not here, it kind of went by fast. So, yeah, we could talk about Infinity War in just a moment. Yeah, Fearless. It says that Hawkgirl, Green Arrow, and some other heroes helped him. Yeah, and Hawkgirl, I don't know if they're going to bring her back to do that, but that would be kind of cool. Well, Dr. Cringe, I will let everybody know before I talk about it. Yeah, the ending with DeVoe actually launching the Enlightenment. My question, though, is this going to fix Harry? Will this reset Harry back to normal? You know what I mean? That would be really cool. If it fixed his intelligence issue. That would be really, really cool. We can talk about Arrow too if you guys want. Bluzzy Williso says, do you think Flash Time will be a thing from here on out, or will they come to realize it's too OP and get rid of it? I think it's going to be too OP. I think it played its, like it had its moments here. Like, you know, another thing is after last season, we're not seeing any Speed Force duplicates or time remnants. Simply because they made it so, oh, well, we can't use it because this will happen and that'll happen and blah, blah, blah. So I think we'll probably have something similar next season with Flash Time. Or it'll just be Barry giving his speed to other people randomly instead of doing Flash Time. Sort of like Wally West did in the comics. OP means overpowered. When I say OP, that means overpowered. Amethyst with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Amethyst. You said, Stephen Amell tweeted that he's excited about the 4 series crossover as he was about the SS2 when they released the Flash, which might indicate new DC. You mean you mean next season? Is that what you're talking about, Amethyst? Clarify that for me. Because, yeah, I remember he's done a lot of interviews and stuff since the season finale's coming up. Did I know that Hawk Girl was a barista? No, I wasn't sure about that. Was she a barista? I cannot remember if she ever confirmed that. Yeah, Amethyst, I'm super excited about it too. I would love to see something exciting happen. I think right now the shows need a reinvention. Like, they really need to do something different. I think Legends is the only show that really has a good idea of what they want to do with their series. And here's the thing. I know Pagey's not here, but Pagey is really enjoying this season of The Flash. I'm not enjoying it as much. I do like Neil Sandilands as DeVoe. I didn't like all the other DeVoe stuff that happened in the middle of the season. But he's enjoying it much more than season 3. And I'm of the other camp where I actually was more hyped for episodes in season 3, even though I didn't like how season 3 ended. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm excited about next season. I'm excited to see how they're going to wrap this season up. But as far as Arrow goes and Stephen Amell being excited about the crossover, I honestly cannot wait to see what they're going to do, because I feel like it's going to be hard to top Crisis on Earth X. Crisis on Earth X was incredible in my opinion. I feel like next year's crossover will be pretty cool since we have Constantine, Wally, and Roy. Yeah, and the thing is, Roy and Wally are going to be both big parts of the shows. So I think that's going to be awesome. Do I think Lena will go evil? Probably. I think Lena's going to be the villain for next season. Monique says, I hate this season. Gary says, yes, Cisco met her at Jitters. Yes, a barista. Static Vortex says, only if Legends would deal about Thanagar and the Nith metal. The Wave Rider could also get out of space to different planets. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved that, because I know that, like, the Dark Knight's metal storyline that we had recently in DC Comics touched on. It had a lot to do with that particular stuff, you know, the Nith metal or Nth metal. And I think it would be cool if they did something like that on the show, like a dark version of all the other characters. I mean, we kind of did that with Crisis on Earth X, but I would love to see something like what they did with the metal storyline. What's up, Finn? You're human. Tim says, do you think Wally will guest star in the finale? It's confirmed Cecile's baby will be born next episode. I would like to see Wally, but I feel like we've got so many characters already. I don't know where he would fit in, but I would be cool with that. It would be a nice little tie-up. Coldwater Yo says, every show should have a giant plushie fights. Yeah, that would be funny. Barry Allen says, let's think about the Flash Arrow style. Whoa. Hold on. Let's think about the Flash Arrow style. Seasons 1 and 2 were girls. Season 3 and Season 4 were going downhill. Season 5 has to be freaking amazing. Yes, if that follows what happened with Arrow, I agree with you. Dr. Cringe says, what do you think of an Arrow Arrow and Supernatural crossover, since we're talking about crossovers? I think that could work. The only problem is that the stuff that's going on in Supernatural could not happen in the Arrowverse. So it would have to be some weird breach of another Earth. I'm not saying they couldn't do it, but I'm just saying that that's how it would have to happen. I would be okay with that, because I feel like Arrow's characters have more in common with the Supernatural characters than what we're seeing with all the metahuman stuff. It is about to storm outside, so you may hear it rain really hard on the roof. Fearless says, I love Supergirl Season 3, some issues, but overall I think the good Arrow is Legends okay. Supergirl Season 3 has been like this weird thing for me. Like, the first half of the season was like up here. It was like my favorite show for a little while. And then it had like this little slump right after it came back. And now I'm kind of enjoying it again. So I'm hoping that it actually, keeps that momentum. How do you think Black Siren storyline next season without Quentin, Laura? I just think that she's going to feel like she has to do the right thing because of Quentin either leaving or dying this season. Hello, Adriel Ortega. How are you? Hello, Lugman. How are you doing? Quick thoughts on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s last episode. The Graviton stuff is so good on Agents. So good. And I'm so glad they're coming back. They're getting another 13 episodes, which is the same amount of episodes you get on a Netflix series. So I am actually Very, very, very excited about the end of the season. Unfortunately, I discussed at the beginning of this live stream that I had a family member who's been sick for several months, and my channel took a hit from it. But I'm still watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and hopefully starting really soon, because I know the season finale is coming up, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about the show. Are you excited for Sarah and Arrow on Thursday? I'm always excited for Sarah. Sarah's like my favorite female character in the Arrowverse. So, yes, more Sarah. Ben said, did somebody say Rain? Yeah, if you guys watch my Monday video, you know that I said that Rain is literally the best thing about Supergirl Season 3, for me anyway. How would I reinvent Flash in Season 5, or could you save it for its own video? I could give you an idea of what I would do. You know, I feel like they need to get back to the heart of what the Flash is. The over-the-top slapstick humor is not working for me. Humor is fine. Like the Season 1 stuff was really good, blended with the drama of Season 1. If they could capture that magic again, I think I would love any storyline they would do. So I'm not sure what's going on. Elijah, wait, hold on. Elijah says, hey, Eric, I'm from Suffolk. Good to see a fellow Virginia native. Well, Elijah Colbert, I was actually born in Suffolk. That is where I grew up. It's where I went to school, high school. I graduated from Nansemond River High School. So not only are we close by each other, but I'm actually from there. So that's kind of interesting. R.I.P. Gotham. Yes, absolutely R.I.P. Gotham. MC Concept says Eric Sarah is the only good female character. Hashtag Bebo, of course. Seth says Iris is Godspeed. I hope not. Do I think Cicada will be the Season 5 villain? Tedrick, that seems to be... like, I know a bunch of people made a video about that. A bunch of people. And I was going to make a video about it, but then I'm like, everybody else has talked about it. I like to make videos that other people aren't making, other than reviews. So I was like, no, I'm not going to touch on it. I think Cicada would be a great villain. But I also think we need a speedster, not necessarily for the whole season, but it would be cool to have some mystery evil speedster on the side leading into Season 6. So hopefully they do that. That would be kind of cool. How could you save Supergirl, Laura says. Just do what they did at the beginning of the season. They had a good blend of writing and heartfelt stuff. I think they're getting back to it. Who even wants Cicada anyway? I'm totally understanding of that. Yeah, I don't want a speedster villain as the main villain. I think leading into it would be good. Riverdale made a Gotham reference. That's crazy. Yeah, Lucifer. A lot of people are upset about that. You graduated high school. I thought you were 19. You thought I was 19? You need glasses. I'm an old dude. I was born in Johnson City, right on the Virginia-Tennessee line. Well, that's cool, Omega. Excuse me. For some reason, Dr. Pepper makes me burp. I don't know if it does that for everybody else. It does it for me. How many evil speedsters are there? They could do tons of them. Wait. Hold on. I saw a good question up here. Buzzy says, do you think we'll ever get a payoff to the type of way Barry Allen time traveled in Season 1, Episode 15, and Season 2, Episode 8, like how he replaced himself with accidental time travel? You think they will? I would love for them to do that, but they have a really hard time writing time travel on The Flash. At least on Legends, they kind of fly by the seat of their pants. I don't know why. Dude, are you in the DMV area because it's also raining here? I don't know what DMV in Virginia stands for Department of Motor Vehicles. So you're going to have to be a little bit more specific about that. It was just a plot hole, Buzzy. What happened to the commander? Who knows? What happened to... let's say you're talking about what happened to all these people. So many characters are missing. You know the Supergirl character that we lost. I'm not even going to mention his name. It's become my catchphrase now. What's my favorite CW show right now? I'd probably still say The Flash is my favorite at the moment. Supergirl's right on the edge there, and Arrow's kind of been. So with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. being on 13 episodes next season, do you think they'll just end it or a test run since it doesn't come out till next summer? Well, Ben, according to the head executive of ABC, this isn't going to be their last season. They're just reducing the budget. So the show is reducing episodes to go along with that. But if the 13 episodes do really well, like this season has been doing pretty good, I'm pretty sure they'll continue on with another season of Agents. I love that show. It's storming in Kentucky too. Wow. Giovanni got it. Whatever happened to Maxwell Lord? I wasn't going to say it, but I was waiting to see if anybody was going to bring it up. Oh, the Doom Patrol spinoff featuring Cyborg. You mean for the DC Universe streaming service? I think it's kind of sad that Cyborg is going to be on the Doom Patrol series, but not on the Teen Titans. I don't understand that at all. When I think of Teen Titans, I think of Cyborg. He's one of the main characters from that series. Yeah, there's no problem in putting him in Justice League, but if you're going to put him on a streaming service show where you already have a Teen Titans show, why would you put him on Doom Patrol? That seems odd to me. However, I am excited about Doom Patrol because I think that's a cool property, and I'm getting a little bit more excited about the DC streaming universe. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm like I said, they're throwing out a few things that I'm kind of excited about. Teen Titans has me a little bit worried based on the behind-the-scenes shots, but I never, ever base my entire opinion on a show on costuming until I see them in action. So until we get a trailer, I'm just going to reserve my thoughts on that. Yeah, Mark, I forgot your... Hey, what's up, Gary? How are you? Who is the mystery girl? She's a speedster. Wait, what happened? After Barry destroyed that satellite, he just let DeVoe get away. I think it was because he thought that he had stopped the Enlightenment. So he just was like, I'm not worried about it. DeVoe played his last card. Played his last hand. Thoughts on Riverdale? I haven't watched the last couple episodes. I have to catch up on it. Hey, Eric. Cinematographic. Arrow. Hashtag Arrow v Quake. Dawn of a soft reboot. That would be funny. Do I think Rain is overpowered like DeVoe is on The Flash? Yes, absolutely. 100%. But I love Rain. I love Rain more than I love DeVoe. But I think she is a bit OP at this point. What's my favorite crossover of all time? Crossover? Like of all the DC TV shows, CW shows? Probably Crisis on Earth X. I really, really love that. I saw it right after I saw Justice League, and I'm like, I preferred that more than I preferred the Justice League movie. Do you think they're trying to low-key redeem fake Team Arrow? I don't even think it's low-key. I think it's basically in our face. I have not forgot what they did. So all this nonsense about them coming in and just being chill, it's like, are you kidding me? No, not having it. Am I excited for Young Justice Season 3? I was, and then I saw the poster, and I'm like, how are they going to connect this with Season 2? Oh, you said DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. Yes, I'm in Virginia. I'm in Virginia Beach. I'm right on the coast. The beach is like 15 minutes that way from me. Did I see the Flash trailer for 4X23? Not yet, but I always watch them after I do my live streams. What is my dream team Arrow next season? Green Arrow and Arsenal. Period. Put a dot on it. Who do you think is the worst villain we've seen on Flash? On Flash? That's a good question. I can easily answer Arrow. There's one that stands out to me as being the worst. Well, there's two actually that I don't really like, but one main one. On the Flash, probably the fire guy from Run Iris Run. Give me my money! I want my money! That was the most ridiculous, dumb character we've ever had. So that would be my answer to that question. Ben says, so if it turns out Caitlyn wasn't experimented on as a kid or got her powers by accident, thoughts on her being a meta before the particle accelerator explosion could be a sign of things to come. It could actually open the door to a lot of new metahumans. It could actually tie in Black Lightning in an interesting kind of way. All crossovers are good except the Flash Supergirl musical. I hated that episode. And I know Ben, DC TV show Ben, he loved it. So we went back and forth about that forever. We still to this day. Like when we did the 4-channel crossover on his channel this past time, they talked about musical episodes and I didn't say anything. I just literally kept my mouth shut. Because I'm like, if I talk about this, I'm going to get jumped by all these guys. Because I did not like it at all. You're surprised that I didn't say Bug-Eyed Bandit for worst Flash villain? It's up there, but literally the fire guy, I don't even remember his name, was so dumb. Do I have a video that was inaccessible because I tried and they are old? All of my videos that I've been doing since like 3 years ago should be up. If it did not show up for you, it's because it's in a copyright dispute. Chessmaster says, DJ, shouldn't Arrow just end? Based on this season, I would be okay with that. Real talk. Console or PC gaming? I have a console and a PC. I use both. I love Steam. So, yeah. Xavier said they still planning on making the Tracy 13 live action Arrowverse show. I know she'll be young just outside of anything else about Berlanti. I don't know, Xavier. I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about that since the Andrew Kreisberg stuff. So I'm not really sure, you know. I'm sorry, Sam, that you're feeling sad. I'm just not happy about it. I think we can agree that Lady Shiva would fix the show. If they would have brought Lady Shiva on and gave us a storyline with Lady Shiva, I think that I would probably have a different opinion about it. But we still have next season, so. Do I play Roblox? No, I do not. Right now I'm playing God of War. I'm about to beat it. That game's bringing tears to my eyes. So good. Remember that one guy from season 1 who had powers but wasn't in Central City for the particle accelerator explosion? Did we ever solve that mystery? Which guy was it, Monique? You'll have to tell me which one that is. Don't remember which one, because there's been a couple of them that were kind of... You're talking about... Wait. Are you talking about the guy with the beams out of his eyes? Was that who it is? Played by Doug Jones? If you're talking about him, I don't think they ever addressed that. Let's say Smack says, what do you think will happen to Harry? He's becoming more of HR. I hope they get rid of that character. I think that his intelligence is going to get reversed during the Enlightenment. On Arrow, easily my least favorite character was Cupid. I hated that character. I hated everything about her. She was so out of place on that show. Completely out of place. Every time she came on screen, I cringed. Dr. Cringe says, you and Paigey are like families and gangs. You have the DJ Eric family and the Paigey family. We're just in constant disagreement. It's fine. Me and Paigey, actually, I have to give Paigey a shout out. When I was starting out on my channel, and I was doing it, and I was just, slowly gaining subs and stuff, he actually took the time to give me that shout out that I believe he gave Bobo Talks the shout out at the same time. And he didn't have to do that. And I really didn't even know that he was going to do that. And ever since then, we've become like really good buddies. And we talk about stuff all the time in regards to these shows and movies and things like that. And he and I disagree on a lot of things. But at the end of the day, I think he's a really cool dude. Seth says, am I the only one who kind of liked Cupid? Well, tell me why you liked Cupid. Tell me why. Maybe you can give me a different perspective. Because no one's ever defended Cupid to me. So if you give me a different perspective, maybe I'll understand. I'm playing God of War right now. I'm playing Give Me God of War for myself. Oh, are you playing the hardest setting? I'm playing on whatever the normal setting is. His shout out's how I found you. Yeah, exactly. I can't ever thank him enough for that. Because I was just doing this kind of like building my channel on my own. And then he gave me the shout out and it was like, oh, awesome. I like Cupid because she's hot. Simple. Okay. She's like the Harley Quinn of Arrow. Okay, I'll give you that. I agree. Do I think Black Rachel will become a villain for The Flash? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. See, everybody says she's good because she's hot. You know, they could have kept her hot and still made her interesting as a character. She's like a knockoff Arrow character. Like she's a knockoff Green Arrow, which I think they could have done more with her. Let's see. Do I recognize Kratos' new voice actor? You mean from Stargate, Teal'c? I knew it right away as soon as he opened his mouth, which I didn't know when I first got the game. But the minute he started talking, I was like, wait a minute. Did we step through the Stargate? Let's see. Finn, you're human. What are the 4 channels when you do the 4-channel crossover so I can go follow them? Paigey is one of them. The DC TV show Ben is the other. And Boba Talks is the 4th one. I don't know if we're going to continue them through the summer because I know a lot of people are going to be doing stuff. But we'll see what's going to happen there. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Me and Paigey will still live stream together though. And if Boba's free, you know, I'll live stream with him. I think Ben and I are on opposite schedules usually. So, let's see. I am Groot. Do I think Tommy Merlin should return full time? I like Tommy, but I think at this point we can pretty much say that they've exhausted all of the Tommy stuff that they could do. What am I doing in the summer? Well, last summer I did the fan battles, but Warner Brothers TV basically locked all those down. Most of them have been restricted on my channel by Warner Brothers TV. So I don't know. What I'll probably do in the summer is a lot of live streams with you guys, and we'll talk about any news and stuff. I was thinking about maybe possibly doing the Monday mega videos, and then a Friday video where I talk about all the news from the week, like a wrap up for the entire week, like a Friday news show for you guys with all new graphics and try something new with my app. Because I've downloaded a couple of different video apps. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're thinking about that. What are my thoughts on anime? I've watched anime all my life, pretty much. I like the one that most people say they don't like, which is the one that I really binged like crazy, which was Bleach. And I actually am fairly, when it comes to Japanese, I understand Japanese pretty well. I've studied it for about 2.5 years. So I usually watch them without subs. I haven't watched all of Attack on Titan yet. So we'll have to see. I play a video game called Final Fantasy XIV, right? And they do all of their live letters in Japanese. So whenever there's a live letter, I get on with my friends and I translate what they're saying for my friends. So, but I'm not perfect. I get a lot of stuff wrong, but I can kind of understand what's being said. So, yeah. If you guys want, you can leave suggestions for anime you'd like for me to check out. And if I can find it, if it's on Crunchyroll or somewhere like that, I'd love to check it out. While it's on my mind, Eric, I don't know if you've heard about this before they ever make a God of War movie. WWE Legends Triple H would make a perfect Kratos. I love Triple H. I've loved Triple H since the 90s. Well, we are going to talk about Infinity War here in a minute. For everybody that's hanging out, I will talk about Infinity War. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Sam. Mike says, whatever happened to your Smallville recap ever finished? I made a season 3 and a season 4 review video, and Warner Brothers has restricted them. I fought it, and they told me no, and if I try to fight it again, I will get a channel strike. So for now, for some reason, Smallville and Supergirl on my channel gets hit more than anything else. I finished watching Smallville. Let's see. Dave says, I wish I was fluent in Spanish like you are in Japanese. Well, I've been studying Spanish too. I have to say Spanish is much easier than Japanese because even in the Japanese language, there's like 3 different major. There's hiragana, kanji, and what's the other one called? I can't write it. I can listen to it and speak it, but when it comes to reading it, I still have a hard time. But the main 2 are hiragana and kanji. So yeah. But I'm a typical like American person speaking Japanese, so I can tell you what they're saying, but trying to speak it myself, I sound crazy. Ben says, I didn't know you were a wrestling fan. I just became a bigger fan of yours. Well, thank you, Ben. What did I think of Smallville? I liked Smallville. I think there's a couple of seasons. I think like seasons 7 and 8. Katakana. That's it, Ren. You're right. That's the other one. When it comes to writing and reading Japanese, don't even ask me. When I studied online, I used the actual English lettering. So, yeah. Say something in Japanese. I sound really bad. Let's see. What can I say in Japanese that would be interesting? Because I could say my name, but that's pretty common. Sumimasen. Or I could say, I could do Ohayo gozaimasu, which is good morning, or Konbanwa gozaimasu, which is good evening. I have my speaking is bad. I can understand it, but trying to say it doesn't sound very good. Sayonara. Sayonara gozaimasu. Yes. Let's see. Why did they strike me? I don't know. I sound crazy, exactly. My Japanese dialect is not very good. Nihon? Nihon ni? Nihongi? All right, so thumbs up. Thumbs up if you want me to talk about Infinity War. We can talk spoilers for that really quick before I wrap things up. Dr. Cringe, where was your question? Okay, last question before I go. How do you think the season 5 would change if drastically explain Enlightenment was successful? Would DeVoe become the villain again? If they leave us on a cliffhanger with the Enlightenment, I think that would be tough. That would be really, really tough. Wow. You know what, Dr. Cringe? I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. Simply because the Enlightenment would be a game changer. So let me think about that, and I'll get back to you on it. Ask me next week. Dirk Diggler says, $5 super chat. Just so you know, the scene in Supergirl where Rain walks down the hall and goes through a lot of weapons is a ripoff from Superman the movie. Which scene was that? Oh, wait. Towards the end of the episode. I'm going to have to go back and watch that now. I'm not going to talk about Deadpool 2 because I'm seeing it tomorrow. Paigey is seeing it tonight. And I know he's going to tweet me DMs with spoilers because that's what he does. All right, Dr. Cringe, have a good night. Okay, we're going to change this here just so everybody knows. Really quick. Infinity War spoiler cast. Let's chat. All right. So if anybody comes in, they know that we're also talking about Infinity War. All right. I'll do Smallville. Let's do a live stream and talk about Smallville. I can get away with that. Do you think we'll see Jay Garrick in the supposed speedster he was before season 5? Buzzy, I don't know if John Wesley Shipp is going to be back anytime soon for full time on the series. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. There are people leaving, and there's just like spoilers in the chat already. Thank everybody for coming in if you're leaving for the Infinity War chat. All right, so if anybody is watching this on playback, you've already been sort of spoiled by the chat, I guess, and I do apologize, but we're going to talk about Infinity War. All right, so what do I use for the font in my videos? Comica Access. Spelled like this. Comica Access. That is my favorite font. All right, so what do we want to talk about for Infinity War, except for the fact that it was freaking awesome, and I loved it. I went and saw it 4 times. The 4th time that I saw it, I went back and watched it thinking of Thanos as the hero. And if you go back and you watch it thinking of Thanos as the hero, it puts the film in a whole new perspective, because the very last shot we see at the end of the film is Thanos winning and smiling. And if you think about it, the reason why Thanos is such a great villain is because we can understand that he was doing it because he thought he was doing the right thing. As dangerous as he was, and as many people as he was out just taking out and planets he was purging and stuff like that, he thought he was doing it for the right reasons. So I don't agree with his methods. I think there's a lot of other ways this could have gone. But I understand why he was doing it, and that's what makes him such a great villain, in my opinion. All right? That's number 1. Number 2, I think that a lot of the hate that Star-Lord is getting because of his decision to basically start slapping and punching Thanos, okay? People say that was out of character for him. But if you think back to Guardians 1 and Guardians 2, everything that Peter Quill has done, okay, has been based on emotion. Think about it. Everything that happened in Guardians 1 and everything that happened in Guardians 2 was impulsively based on emotion. All of it. Every single bit of it. So having him get so upset that he's willing to punch Thanos and slap Thanos, right, is, although it's reckless, it is not outside of his character. It is definitely within the character of Peter Quill to do that. And Nebula was feeling the same way. So I understand that people don't like the fact. Okay, Ben. That's okay. Thank you for coming in, Ben. I appreciate it. My Thanos doll? You mean my Thanos pop? That one? Yeah, he's got his gauntlets on. Fully powered. Whoops, wrong way. All the stones. In the comics, Captain Marvel defeated him, but Deadpool and Mysterious Death defeat him too. I think Moon Knight defeated him too. Which ending should the MCU go with? I think they're going to do their own. So here's my... Okay, so this is my thoughts on what's going to happen in the next movie, right? I could be completely wrong. This is just my general thoughts. So when Thanos basically deleted 50% of the universe, erased 50% of the universe, right? Of life in the universe. I think he unwittingly deleted some safeguards in place for much more powerful beings. You know what I mean? Like, I think there were characters that were being monitored or held in place by some pretty powerful forces, and he deleted half the life in the universe, which means on a cosmic scale, there's probably some repercussions for that. And we know in the comic book story, Thanos eventually linked up with the heroes to take out Nebula, who had the Infinity Gauntlet. All while Silver Surfer and Adam Warlock were kind of figuring everything out. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Nebula is going to get the Infinity Gauntlet. I think what's going to happen is he deleted half the life in the universe, and some of those cosmic level beings are able to do what they want to do without any safeguards in place. All right, let's talk about Thor. Thor is single-handedly the most, excuse my French, badass character I have ever seen in a superhero movie. Period. Every single time that I saw the movie, it didn't matter if it was, the second, third, fourth time, when he comes down into Wakanda and literally takes out a chunk of the creatures from Thanos' ships and just lays waste to these things, lays waste to the ships. He is literally so powerful. I believe that the MCU, this is controversial territory, okay? Controversial territory, all right? I believe that the MCU Thor could beat DCEU's Superman. Hey, look, I'm just saying. That's just my opinion. I'm just saying it. I'm just putting it out there, right? Okay? I love Henry Cavill. Man of Steel is one of my favorite movies when it comes to superhero movies. It's my favorite DCEU movie. But the way Thanos, he just basically said, oh, you got the Infinity Gauntlet? Here's a Stormbreaker, which is basically is a combination of Stormbreaker and the God Killer axe. He throws it at Thanos. He's like, dude, you know what? The Infinity Gauntlet has got nothing on this axe. He puts the axe in his chest. And I'm thinking, okay, even though he didn't aim for the head or aim for the arm, the axe still went down and nailed Thanos in the chest. Which tells me that Thor is single-handedly, next to maybe Captain Marvel, the most powerful character when it comes to superhero movies that we've ever seen. If you don't count Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen. And so, and if you don't understand the difference between Stormbreaker and the God Killer axe, they literally just combine two different weapons together. If you go to the comics, you know that Stormbreaker was one of the axes we saw, and I believe during Infinity Gauntlet, Stormbreaker was the axe that the stand-in Thor had. I, for the life of me, cannot remember the guy's name. I think it was Eric something. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe he had Stormbreaker at that time. I don't know for sure. But the God Killer axe, I believe, was from Thor in the Ultimate Marvel Universe. So, they combine them together, technically into the same weapon. So, Doctor Strange was crazy. Eric Masterson, that's it, Ren. Thank you so much. I could not think of his last name. So anyway, when Doctor Strange, basically morphed around, yeah, Beta Ray Bill had Stormbreaker. But what was the name of the weapon? Did Eric Masterson actually have Mjolnir? I know Stormbreaker was Beta Ray Bill's weapon, but yeah, I know he's the Thunderstrike Thor, but did he actually have Mjolnir? I can't remember. He was such a throwaway character to me. I know that he eventually, Thunderstrike went on to be a separate character completely, but I don't know. Who are the top 3 strongest Avengers based on what we saw? I'm going to say Thor is at the top. It's so interesting. Are we talking about physical strength or just overall strength? What are we talking about here? If we're talking about physical strength, the top 3 would be Thor, Hulk. If we're talking about the movie universe, Thor, Hulk, Spider-Man. Right? I think they would be the 3 physically strongest ones. If we're talking about just power in general, it would be Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Vision would be up at the top. So Dirk Diggler says, wrong, Eric, because Superman lets loose and don't hold back. He cannot be matched. So what do you guys think in the chat here? Do you think the MCU Thor could beat the DCEU Superman? Who wins, Thor or Superman? I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what the chat thinks. Because I'm a big fan of Thor. I'm a huge Thor fanboy, you could say now, after Infinity War. But I want to know what the chat thinks about this. They literally cut Hulk's Wakanda battle scenes. I think that was I think the Russo brothers said they put those in there for the trailer. But I don't know. Sam says Superman. Comic Court says Thor. CW Flash says Superman. Thor. Bebo. Yes, Thor by far. Superman all day. Thor. So look, the battle is going here. Some people are saying Superman too. I would say the MCU Captain America is around Spider-Man's level in terms of speed and strength. Maybe, possibly, but I feel like Spider-Man's a little bit stronger. But it's debatable. If we're talking about augmented strength, then Iron Man could be put up there as well. Couldn't Doctor Strange defeat Thor? Probably, if it wasn't a physical battle. Thor, because he doesn't have the kryptonite weakness. That's a good point. Can you imagine if Thor had a hammer made of kryptonite? It would be game over. Superman or Adam Warlock, who wins? That's tough. We talk about Adam Warlock from the comics because he hasn't been in the movies yet. Adam Warlock at his peak is pretty powerful. Barry Allen says comic-wise Superman, movie-wise Thor. Yeah, Thor is a beast in the movies. Ren says, yeah, I agree, Spidey is stronger, but Steve seems stronger than MC. Well, see, Ren, I don't know if Captain America could hold a full boat together like Spider-Man did. That's pretty... I mean, Spider-Man, was holding that boat together. I don't know if Cap could do that. It's possible, but I don't know. That was kind of why in my mind I'm thinking he could be a little bit stronger than Captain America, but I don't know. Black Panther versus Batman. I'm not going to get into a versus Batman debate. That is a bigger can of worms than Thor versus Superman. He barely did it, but he did it. That's the thing. He was able to until Tony showed up. I just don't know if Captain America could do that. I mean, Cap held back Thanos with 5 stones. From that scene, maybe it's just me, Dino, but I got the impression that Thanos was toying with Captain America. Like, he was doing it, and Cap was standing there, and he's, like, thinking, you really? Really? And then he just, like, punched him. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just got the impression that that was just showing us that Captain America had the initiative to do it. But I feel like Thanos was kind of like, whatever. Finn says, I know Spider-Man is definitely stronger than Cap in every way. When Iron Man said Cap could have laid him out, I think he means that Spider-Man is so inexperienced that Cap would get the edge on him. Why didn't Strange just portal the gauntlet off Thanos or decapitate him? I don't know. That's a good question. Because I was kind of curious why they couldn't teleport off the planet. I wasn't sure. I mean, he uses that to teleport all over the place. Maybe through space is a different thing. I'm not sure. Lady Sif is dead currently due to Thanos snapping. Yeah, I heard about that, but that's probably also because of the fact that a lot of people were wondering where she was in general, so they had to give an answer. Cap held that helicopter in Civil War. That's the only thing I can bring up. Yeah, Cap is no slouch. Don't get me wrong. I think Cap's so powerful simply because he's so well trained. And he's like, I think they said that Cap's power is about that of an Asgardian who's not technically a god. So any average Asgardian is around Cap's power level. I don't know if that's canon or not, but I've just heard that in certain groups. Better Magician, Loki, Doctor Strange, or Scarlet Witch? We're talking about the MCU. I'm going to say Doctor Strange. Loki's dope, though. And Scarlet Witch, I don't know if what she does could be considered magic, really, anymore. I think it's more scientific. Based on the way she got her powers. I have a theory. Since the Peter Parker Spider-Man is gone for now, Tony Stark will probably bring in Miles Morales. I'd be okay with that, but I know that Sony is also dropping that Spider-Verse animated universe with Miles Morales taking over for Peter Parker. Ren says, Spider-Man is clearly stronger, but Steve is not far off of the ballpark. He couldn't keep up with Spidey, is what I'm saying. Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying, Ren. Eric, remember Spider-Man stopped a moving train in Spider-Man Trilogy Movie 2? Spider-Man is a lot stronger than a lot of people know. Like, if you actually read some of his stories, he's really, really, really strong. I just don't know how strong they're going to make him in the MCU. I hate that it does that. Hey, Sam. I'm glad you didn't leave. Do I think Loki is really dead? From what I understand, and this could be a fake out, they said that everyone that was killed before the Infinity Gauntlet snap is actually staying dead. But then there's rumors that Captain America or Tony Stark goes back in time and talks to Loki back when he was captured by the Avengers. So, I don't know. Amethyst says, Superman all day, but I love Thor, but understand Thor is a god and pagan. He's powerful, period, but he's immortal. He cannot die technically. That's true. As long as he's got the hammer, he cannot die. I agree, Ren. I absolutely agree. Let's see. Finn says, Spider-Man would have pulled that helicopter down way faster. Spider-Man literally caught Winter Soldier's fist so easily he would have mopped Winter Soldier, and Cap struggled with him. Yeah, Finn, I think that Spider-Man would have no trouble fighting against... If he's ever gets trained, like train, I think he would be very, very, very powerful. I think he's still so green that he can get beat by people who just have a bit more experience than him. But I think that'll get covered in his solo movies. Oh my God, Buzzy. That would have been hilarious. Can we compare the DCEU heroes versus MC universe? I mean, we could, but, I mean, I'm kind of excited to see what Aquaman's going to do. I feel like Aquaman could be the Thor for the DC universe, but I don't know if we're going to do any more group movies or they're just going to continue to do these solo films. So, what do I think Avengers 4 will be called? I'm calling Illuminous. Watch. Makes the Infinity War with the Illuminati. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it might be called Avengers 4 Secret Wars. Because we're not going to get an official Secret War storyline, I don't think. I mean, I would love it. Maybe. Let's see. Better CPU, Cyborg or Jarvis? Jarvis. See you later, Static Vortex. Have a good night. Oh, yeah, it's already after 1 a.m. I didn't realize that. I hate the DCEU Flash. Hate it. People say, oh, he looks like he's skiing, but the Flash doesn't ski, he runs. So that's not really an excuse. I just hate that character altogether. It's not just because of the Flash TV show. I think that he just was, I don't know, I didn't like him at all. He did not remind me of Barry Allen. He reminded me more of like a very poorly done Wally West. Technically, Captain America can't die either with that super serum either. He can lay down his mantle but not die. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Cap. I do know that some of the OG characters want to, like, they want to wrap them up. They don't have enough time in the year to do movies with those characters. So... I loathe the DCU Flash with white-hot intensity of 1,000 suns. I agree. I hate that Flash. And I'm so glad they're not doing Flashpoint. I'm really, really glad they're not. I agree, Xavier. Telia Boston says, could the Russos be trolling us with all the interviews they've been giving? Seems like they're trying to tick off the fans. I think that's definitely what's going on. Because they've said that they purposely put stuff in trailers they're not going to use in the movie. So I'm going to guess anything we hear for the next 6 or 8 months is basically just hyping up the next movie. We won't get any real information until right before the movie comes back. Yeah, Gary, a lot of people were upset about that. It actually started this huge thing on Twitter against Peter Quill, or against freaking Chris Pratt. So anyway, guys, it is coming up on an hour and a half, and I pretty much need to wrap this up, but I wanted to talk a little bit about Infinity War with you guys. So anyway, my videos for The Flash will be out tomorrow and Supergirl. So look forward to that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for all the super chats and all the support. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. See you later.